Greetings, light workers. This is Oya Transformation, and this is your daily oracle reading for April the 17th, 2020, Friday. I did something a little different today in the essence of time because I want you guys to actually look at the messages. And I recognize if I ramble on 20 minutes, nobody wants to sit still because this is the instant world we live in. And sitting still takes up energy, and we have been accustomed, me too, accustomed to squirming. So I shuffled, I prayed over the cards, and this is the message that was pulled. And we'll go from here and see if we can cut these sessions down in half. So here we go. Okay, the first card that was pulled as the theme for today is health. I honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. Spirit guides, Christ light. Oya, come through, cut through the confusion, and let's be clear. Let the message be encouraging and inspiring. And well, we look at health as we go into the weekend. We have a lot of habits that aren't necessarily healthy, and particularly people of color. And it's time to break the chain, because if we want to live a quality life and we want to live through our current situation, some of the things that we have been doing do not build immunity, do not make us less apt to have a favorable outcome. And at the end of the day, when we go back to whatever our new normal is to be, we want to be stronger. So it's time to strengthen your practices. Drink more water, warm water, because cold water shocks your body. You want to eat more fruits and vegetables, raw fruits. Oh, of course, the fruits are going to be raw unless we're making pastries, but raw vegetables. And because the enzymes in the vegetables are healing, we supplement with vitamins. We don't live by vitamins. The vitamins are in the food. Everything we eat should be healing. Moving on to the second card, which is what's in our toolbox and what's there to help us shift while we manage our health. And what came up was the Elder card. And the Elder cards ask that we move beyond ancestral patterns. Now, you and I know that in any family, there is the status quo, and there are those who never quite make it into the status quo. And what wins most times are the people who said, no, let's not do it that way just because we have been doing it that way. I would assume, I'm just thinking about the human nature, that the person that said, let's go to the left when the group has been going to the right and actually got where they were going faster, story didn't necessarily always get told. Because what we know about the spiritual life or spiritual journey is that it's the narrow way that helps us unfold. It's the narrow way that teaches us the lessons. Because going the way of the crowd has never brought about the blessings that we are looking for. Because sometimes against the grain gets us a better awareness and more expansion, opposed to just doing what's familiar. Familiar is not going to allow us to grow or expand. Moving on, and that's the tool. So we're going to go and dig into that tool a little bit more the Elder card and see what exactly Kyle Gray, whose deck of cards this is, has to say about the Elder. You have to respect the Elder. That much we know. But, you know, like everything else, you take the meat and throw the bones. The message: move beyond the limitations that have been set for you by family members past and present. Know the energy of your spirit is more powerful than genetics and behavioral patterns. Well, he said it clearly. Moving forward to the card from our chakras, and that is the rejection card. So, understanding that if we move in our own way, if we listen to our intuition, if we listen to the messages that come through in our prayer life, in our sitting still, then we have an agenda and a purpose in life that has absolutely nothing to do with ancestral patterns, has absolutely nothing to do with friends, has nothing to do with the things that are going on around us necessarily. There's a message that comes through to you and only you that has something to do with what you were called here to do. And if people pleasing is the way you spend your life, you'll probably never get to your actual calling. So rejection is the card that's coming up as the sacral reminder, which is saying to me is that you have to walk your own path and be prepared to be alone. So let's see what they do with it. And I'm looking at, we're at 7 minutes, so we might actually be able to get this out to you so you can continue your day without listening to me ramble forever in 10 minutes. That's the goal, a 10-minute moment. Am I working with or against my environment? What is the purpose of my present solitude? Hello. Protection, exclusion, and development are the key words. The key ideas are others' approval, unsupportive environment, working alone, and the arrival of a teacher. Okay. That pretty much says it, that to develop what it is that I am to develop. Okay, let's get some tea in here. Working toward what I am to develop is my individual soul's journey. And I don't always have to go against the grain, because that would just be sheer rebellion. But you know exactly what your soul is telling you that you need to do. And this is a perfect time as we do this exercise in social distancing to find out exactly who you are and what makes your heart sing. Because in community, as a collective, we can get things done. But that is not to be the only way. You bring your best goods to the community. You bring your best self to the community. And if you don't know who you are, because you've been more entrenched in community than you have ever known self-love and what standing in your own truth is, I don't know what quality of work you bring to the community, because you're missing an integral part, the you that is to show up, the you that was born to show up. So, moving forward to our daily miracle, and that is the card that says, rest in God, which says to me, don't rest in approval, because only you know in your movement if Spirit is approving, because things are working out. You're not always finding walls. You're in flow. And when you're in flow, the message from Spirit is very good. Continue. Not reassess. Shift. So, there's a place in you where nothing is impossible. There's a place in you where the strength of God abides. Find your place. This did not say there's a place outside of you where the strength of God abides. So as we work on being our healthiest best, as we work on our temples, so that when we are allowed to, this whole thing moves me in a strange way, but when we are allowed to resume whatever normalcy looks like, we can bring forth our healthiest best. We can be okay in rejection, because rejection just means the outer world is not necessarily or approving of you, or that maybe you shifted some of your ancestral patterns to something that works better for you. So stand in your truth and rest in God, because as this card says, and you know, or can learn to know in this time of downtime, that there's a place in you where nothing is impossible. But if you're standing in a community that rejects the way you move, you'll probably never get to that place. So be encouraged to be your healthy best. Be encouraged to find your purpose. And just because the elders do not approve does not mean you disrespect them. It also does not mean you disrespect your purpose. Move forward, knowing you are loved, knowing you are guided by your spirit guides, knowing that your ancestors who want the best for you are always there to help. Create a new pattern, a pattern of health, both physical, emotional, and spiritual. Happy Friday, April 17th, 2020.